I am the Commissar. That's my name. Forged alliance forever. That's the game. Who have we got with a claim to fame? Well, there will be 8 players who will introduce in just a moment, but first of all, where have I been? Well, I've been moving house. You can see behind me, background's different. It's going to be different again when I get a green screen set up, but for now it's just a simple white wall. And I've also been in hospital for a couple of days, so all that means you haven't seen a cast for a while, but I'm back. I'm better than ever, maybe? We'll find out. Anyway, before I ramble on too much, let's see who's playing. We've got the cold team at the top and the hot team at the bottom. Going first for cold team, this is Hannibalo, who's 1337 rated. Ha, spells elite. Anyone remember that? Back when I was young, that was cool. 1337. Anyway, he is Cyan. He's UEF. I'm guessing that's going to be an air position. In front of him, we have Donnie, who's 1903 rated. He's Mauve and he's Cybran. Behind him, Skill-issue-Noob, 1721 rated, UEF in dark blue. And last but not least, for the cold team, this fellow here is our first and only Seraphim of the day. He's hybrid and he's 1650 rated in baby blue. Facing off against them in the south, in their air position in this unappealing brown colour, we have Schumer, 1436 rated in UEF. In this forward position, and my word, but he is forward already, this is Tryth. He's 2008 rated, highest rated player today. He's orange and he's UEF, and he's already got these mech marines scuttling forward. We'll check on them in a moment. At the back here, this is Gib80, Gib. I don't know, it'll probably vary between all of those during the cast. You're just going to have to live with it. And he is dark red, burgundy, that's the word, in Cybran at rating 1607. Last but not least, this fellow here is System Failure, who is 1493 rated. He is UEF as well, and he is in red. So we've got 3 UEFs into Cybran versus 2 UEFs, a Cybran and a Seraphim. And there's already air transport play coming out for drops here, as well as labs and scouts scuttling forward for Donnie, while Tryth has got himself set up here already, and he might catch a really early engineer kill. And he does. Nice. Now this map looks like 15k, so this is way earlier than you would be expecting labs out here. Tryth got them out really early, and he's already got 2 kills on this fella now, which is pretty nice. Might be about to get a 3rd. And he does. This lab has more than paid for itself. Meanwhile though, while these labs are distracting engineers and tanks just to keep them away from here, and he does pick up an engine with that, this drop is being sneaky, and Donnie is trying to set up a little base all the way down here. Up here, those labs are still going strong. One of them's lying in wait here, while another is going for this expansion, but this one, which now has 3 kills on it, yeah, and 2 stars. You don't often see a 2-star lab. He's coming to... Oh, but there's already a preemptive defense going up in the form of a PD for these engineers to set up around, while this lab has continued wandering. So Donnie's drop setting up quite nicely. 1 factory already producing, a 2nd built. But I think that System might be aware of that, and he's got a big heap of land factories all queued up there. Tanks coming out from Tryth, and he's following up with his comm. He's being very aggressive here. Looks like those labs have finally been cleared up by this bomber, I think. At least one of them has. And the other's been shot up somewhere around here, but they definitely paid for themselves. Donnie getting quite entrenched. He's already 3 factories up, his 4th going up. And he's trying to raid in before we get any real defensive structures up from System. But System Failure has a swarm of tanks coming down, and that should be more than enough to shut down this push from Donnie. And as if that weren't enough, we have both System and Gibbo sending their comms to clear this up. So it will clear this up, and Donnie's taking advantage to reinforce with more drops, but he sees that he's going to lose this to 2 comms and all that spam, and so he's just going to grab these mexes out here. So that has at least kept these feathers back, and Hannibalo and Donnie are both coming forward with their comms to take advantage of the open goal left by System having to put his comm back here. Tryth is charging crazy forward. He's by far the furthest forward of any of the comms relative to their starting positions, and he's supporting with spam, as you would. Schumer's brought his comm up but isn't really getting into a combat position yet. And System Failure's tanks come pushing up to drive Donnie off his little emplacement, but a mech only needs to last for a few seconds, something like 18 seconds? I should know that by now, to pay for itself. Anyway, I think those mexes have paid for themselves. Bomber pressure coming to defend. Hannibalo flying over here, but it looks like he's missed his shot, and these fighters are just going to pick it up. And they did. Any upgrades in any of these comms? Well, as I said, Tryth starts the gun upgrade. Consolidation from Gibbo and System Failure as they set up. Oh, and Hybrid starts the gun upgrade to counter Tryth. And he's also got a decent horde of spam coming forward, so this looks like it's where all the fighting's going to go down. And it feels like Tryth just has the slight upper hand. He's getting good exchanges here. He's a little bit ahead with his gun upgrade. And he's got 79 equal to Hybrid's 83 though, so Hybrid might outproduce him in the long term, but it's still very early days to be making calls like that. However, Team 2, way ahead on eco. I don't know how they've done that so quickly. This could be fun. Tactical missile, and Donnie is assisting that upgrade. Are there any T2 mexes going to be in range yet? Well, not yet, but... oh, this is quite a push though. Donnie is surrounded by T1 spam. I think he should be able to handle this, especially with this production. He's got a T2 factory on here, so he can probably stop. Oh, but look what I've missed in all that. I have missed this lot. Charging in from Tryth through the middle here, up this little canyon, and trying to get into the back of Skill's base. And Skill, ooh, 9. Look at that save. Look at that save. That is beautiful from Skill. A display of skill. He saves it from death with 90% upgrade. And that's that. Nice play. Although that is 2 mexes claimed by Tryth to raid, so not at all bad, but System's just pushing in with the spam here. He's got 3 mexes down, 4 mexes down. I think he's going to claim a couple more with this artillery, and he's just not stopping. Skill has sent some gunships forward, some stingers, and he's working on it, but I think a mech or two more might fall to that. Look at this. This is great play from Hot Team. Meanwhile, though, Tryth and Hybrid get stuck into each other. Hybrid does have Ilshis coming out here, and that could turn the tide, as I'm not seeing any T2 actual production from Tryth yet. They've both got the gun, they've both taken a bit of damage, but those Ilshis are going to have to come out a bit faster if they're going to save Hybrid's bacon. He's putting up point defenses to fall back to, but... Bacon might also be saved by Skill, who's brought his comm forward, unupgraded, but it's still a comm. And 2 comms v1, I know which I favour in that circumstance. Ilshi's coming off as fast as... Oh, but what's this? This is Janus coming out from Skill, and he is carving through those T1 tanks. Look at that firebomb, and he might do some quite severe damage to Tryth if Tryth is not super careful. Hannibalo shooting out that TML to some mexes. We'll see if you can see it on the minimap there. We'll see if he does some damage in just a bit, but these Janus might be a bit of a problem for Tryth. They're focusing him, and though Schumer is supporting with a few inties, there's more inties from Skill, and Skill's Janus keep the pressure up. Hybrid is bolstered by this, and he's pushing in, though that might be a bit of a problem if he doesn't get those Ilshis up, but those Ilshis are indeed up. Tryth hides under a shield and not a moment too soon, but the Janus burn just burns him up. And this could be pain. He's down to just 1,500 hit points and still burning 1,000 hit points. Is Tryth going to get out of this, or is he going to be our first ejection? I think he's doomed, my dudes. I think he's doomed. He is doomed. Boom. Up goes Tryth, our first ejection at 12 minutes into the game. But look at this. We saw those tanks coming through, and while we were focusing on Tryth, systems just pushed in, and this is a huge hole, and look at that eco differential. That's like 150 eco that Hot Team are ahead. So that has paid off massively, but they've lost their top rated player. In fact, they've lost the game's highest rated player, so how's that going to turn out for them? And we can see that a few mexes have been picked off here by Hannibalo's TML. He's done a bit of damage with it, but now his comms looking a little exposed against a very big swarm of spam that System's coming in with. Now, if you were Hannibalo, would you be just standing around trying to shoot up? He's got T2 on him. He could be putting up a T2 point defense here. That's what I'd be doing. What would you be doing? Well, he's putting up a T1 point defense, which is probably more sensible to start with, if he then follows it up with either another 2 of those or a T2 point defense. I mean, he's got one here, so, or rather Donnie has. And Donnie's also bringing in hoplites and rhinos to help out. Buoyed up by killing Tryth, these Ilshis have pushed in, and that's quite a significant Ilshi horde, and they might get some damage done on Schumer. Down go the shield. Schumer could be in trouble from that many Ilshis. Though Gibbo has Titans here, and those Titans, supported by their mobile shields, and of course with their own little baby shields, are probably going to eat the Ilshis for breakfast. If I were Hybrid, I might have stayed and shot Schumer with those dudes. But I'm not. And I didn't. And he didn't. Hybrid's going for Nano to boost his gun and get that... I say boost his gun, you know what I mean. Make his gun more useful at this stage of the game. And he has got more Ilshis killing mexes over here. And in fact, look at that. Core team have almost caught up on Eco, which is quite crazy when you think about it. Like a few seconds ago, we saw that Hot team was something like 150 mass per tick ahead. And, okay, they're still 50 ahead, but that's a huge catch-up from Core team. There's one flat tech in there, and those bombers are trying to get it, and they do. So those Urshis could be easy pickings for these bombers from Schumer, and Schumer has got T3 air and a decent force of ASFs. I'm seeing a few ASFs from Hannibalo, but not as many. But Skill is also working on an air grid, and he's just up to T3, so that might change soon enough, but that's a lot of air to ground there. Meanwhile, I hear explosions as dudes are pushing in, and that might force some shenanigans from Hybrid. Will he be able to finish his nano in time, or is he going to be too much under threat from these boys? So these Urshis have got some decent eco damage done, but I think the Percys that are now coming up there, supported by shields, will stop them. Yeah, Hybrid's going to finish that nano. And speaking of nano, we've also got Donnie going for nano. He's got gun and stealth, so that would be quite a nice, tough comm to fight. And he's definitely making sure he's got a base here, which is producing bricks. In fact, his HQ is all the way up here, which you might think is quite courageous, but I mean, it's not that far from his actual main base. It looks like system is still mainly focused on T1, though I am seeing a Percy in there, so he's not lacking tech, he's just not building much yet. And Hybrid goes straight for double nano. Now, you know me, I love some double gun, double nano, and I'm hoping that's what we're going to see from Hybrid here, and just rampaging in. He's got T3 as well, he's got Ophiums there, and an awful lot of Urshis. But that's a formidable force to go up against. It's got more T3 than he's got. It's got a number of Percys. It's got a couple of Titans, and it's got shielding. And I think that this lot may have to retreat. Meanwhile, we've got broadswords out from Schumer, which are shooting up some eco here. And they've done a bit of damage before Inties from Hybrid come and pick it off. And there are ASFs from Hannibalo, but they're a little bit late to react. And another big T1 push swarms in from system, and it's just eating its way through these mexes that were belonging to Donnie, and a couple more just trickling back to take out this T2 mech. So good eco damage, and look at how balanced the ecos are now. A second ago it was 50, a bit before that it was 150 difference. Now it's 0 difference, give or take. Is this force going to be enough to stop this one? Urshis are nice, but are they nice enough to stop that many heavily shielded Percys? I don't think they are, and there's still 40 seconds left on that double nano for Hybrid, and these guys could come in and do a lot of damage, but count the fraps in there. I'm seeing, in fact, count the bounce of the Cougars in there. That's quite a bit. 16, 15, 14, can he survive? I think that he has time to do it, and in come all those fellows. Meanwhile over here though, Donnie's comm is fighting off that T1 spam. Immediately he starts the double gun, but thinks he'd better retreat, and I don't blame him with that many Percys around. On this side, Donnie's comm is blapping away at those T1 units. They're only T1, he's got gun, he's got nano. He'll be fine, especially with Hannibalo coming in to help. Meanwhile, we saw that Gibbo just built an XP. What did he build? I mean, he's Cybran, so it's probably a monkey. It is a monkey. Here it is. Hybrid falling back a bit. He's already got 4 vets on that comm, so 47,000 hits nearly, which is pretty nice. But in order to really make use of it at this stage in the game, in order to not waste all that investment, he really needs double gun. Not that I'm biased towards double gun or anything. A bit more T3 creeping into system failures mix now, so these comms for Hannibalo and Donnie will need to be a little bit careful. And again, he starts the double gun and cancels it. Make up your mind, Hybrid. Wonder if he knows the monkey's coming. Code team actually ahead in mass now for the first time in a while. And we do have a push from Code team heading down and driving system failure back. But they've got to be a little bit careful of overextending. More TMLs out from Hannibalo, who is taking out some T2 mechs there. That's a nice play. And he's even dropping in some units, a couple of bricks to clean up afterwards. Overall, pretty good. And systems attacking over here again, a little more T2. So he's just ignoring this push and swiping in. And he might actually get Donnie, because that Percy is, well, dead. That Percy isn't though, and Donnie is taking a bit of damage. But I see the monkey going in on left, so let's have a look. There's bricks coming to the defense of Donnie and Hannibalo here, and overall it looks like they're about to take out that raid from system. And you're thinking, well, maybe he's... But what's this? What's this? That's a little broadsword snipe. 4 broadswords coming in from Schumer, but meanwhile the monkey is pushing forward. Hybrid's got a decent amount of stuff there, but is it enough to stop an entire monkey? Meanwhile, Donnie has been damaged by the land force, and those broadswords are focusing him. There's a shield there, sure. Meanwhile, here's Hybrid. Donnie's under the shield, but the shield's about to drop. The shield drops. The monkey heads towards Hybrid. Hybrid's being careful there, and there's a lot of T3 to focus the monkey, but Donnie is under 1,000 hit points. Boom, down he goes. Nice big explosion. Nice if you're hot team, that is. The monkey's been killed, but there's still a huge amount of T3. Hybrid is falling back with his comm towards this line of T2 point defense. I think he'll survive, but he's losing quite a lot of stuff here. And this T3 is pushing across to just do eco damage. There's defense with broadswords from Hybrid, but in come Schumer's ASFs. Meanwhile, on the other side, a large push of units in general is coming in towards the units that Skill has inherited from Donnie, but it's just going to die against that wave of bricks. Meanwhile, let's reposition here to see how this lot is going on. And the system is pulling back, so I think we can afford to go back to single screen. Hybrid and Skill are now both defending with broadswords here, but that's a lot of T3 to work through, and that's a lot of high level mexes that these boys can just eat up. And the ecos are balanced for now, but with this lot getting stuck into Cold Team's eco, and the broadswords have been wiped out by the ASFs from Gib, who has really cleared a path for his dudes. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 mexes that they have taken out in this charge, which is pretty nice. And they've got another bunch of dudes massing up here. Now, Hybrid still hasn't got that second gun upgrade. Donnie was a nice snipe for the Hot Team because he was their highest rated player, and sure, Hot Team lost Tryth, their highest rated player, but now it's, you know, a bit more even in terms of rankings. And here come those Percys stamping forward, and they're getting into the T3 mexes now, and I would not like to have Percys in my T3 mexes, but that's what Cold Team have got. And Hot Team are pulling ahead on Eco once again. Another large attack from System, and look at that immense horde of Percys stamping forward. But look at that even more immense horde of bricks, backed up by shields, backed up by T2 point defense, and they're stealth, so these aren't going to see them until they get in close. And again, I think that System might just be pushed back a little bit. Meanwhile, Hot Team continue their rampage through Cold Team's eco, and they're now 200 mass per tick ahead. Hybrid finishes a chicken up here. Is it going to fall back and try and stop this, or is he going to leave that for Skill to handle and send his chicken forward? Well, that chicken is coming straight forward to be an offensive unit, and these remaining bricks are going to be something that Skill has to deal with all by himself. He's throwing up T1 PDs. He's bringing in a couple more broadswords, but this air force from Schumer and Gibbo should be more than enough to handle those broadswords. Or it would be if they coordinated, which they're not yet. The fight goes on over here, and look at that. That is 14 plus 5 plus 2. There's like 25,000 reclaim in that area, and it's likely that Skill is going to pick up most of it. However, he's wandered quite far forward from his firebase, and so he's actually on the losing side of this battle now. And that's quite a lot of engineers that System has coming in and ready to pick it up, so maybe he will actually get the better of the reclaim in that situation. How are they doing on reclaim? Well, look at that. Cold Team is actually way ahead on reclaim by like 50k. Chicken, says Tryth. Who are you calling chicken? Well, actually I think he's calling that a chicken, because that is what we tend to call ethothers. We call them chickens. Mind you, I've also heard Ilshis called chickens, so, you know, pretty much anything Seraphim might be called a chicken. Well, most things Seraphim. I mean, this war section I don't think you'd call a chicken. You would have to be quite a stretch to call that war section a chicken. But I digress just a little bit, because that chicken is pushing in down here. But Gibbo has a bunch of whalers coming in to try and take it out, and he's got enough air screening from Schumer, who's also brought in broadswords, and from his own ASFs, that stopping those gunships before they kill that chicken is going to be quite a big ask. And he's not really putting out much in the way of AA tanks. I think he needs to get a few T3 AA tanks on their way. That said, he's got almost another chicken up, but that will probably go the same fate of this one, which is about to die, and which dies, if he doesn't get himself some AA support. Code Team is now 500 eco per tick behind. Poor old Code Team. Now, we saw a notification earlier that Gibbo had a nuke. Let's find it. Oh, he's also got a mega. But what I'm interested in is this nuke, and that is half loaded. So, is there any anti-nuke? I'm not seeing any anti-nukes there. So that could be a nasty little surprise when it fires. And we have another push. What is this? Boom! Well, that's an HQ being shot out under our noses from a vast bank of tactical missiles that the system has built. Now, that's a very expensive bank of tactical missiles, and I would prefer to rely on these gunships than on the tactical missiles. But I'm not 1500 rated, and system pretty much is, so I'll trust his judgment there, provisionally. More megas queued up. So this push did get in pretty deep before the mega stopped it, and look at these waves of tactical missiles. That seems a little like overkill to me. And is that going to do some damage? Nope, it's just going to miss. Let's have an eco check. Lovely balance from skill, I would expect nothing less. Same from Hannibalo. Same from hybrid. Okay, so if you wanted a pretty much exemplary demonstration of how to balance your eco, of how to balance your eco, that's it, apart from maybe Schumer, who's been fluctuating a bit and doesn't have any energy in storage, which is not a great idea when you're that close to the breadline. But, okay, Skill knows he hasn't got an anti-nuke, and so he's just running, and I think he's gonna lose. Well, he has got an anti-nuke, but it's not loaded. And I think he's going to lose this entire air grid. This is going to be brutal. Look at that, a whole beautiful range of shielded air factories, and boom, down they go in nuclear fire. But we don't have time to focus on that just now, because we have an experimental battle going down here. Waves and waves of spam. Zooey spam backed up by a few Orpheums and shields, plus of course this chicken from hybrid on the one side, and a crab plus a few Percys on the other side for Gibbo, but this might be what swings it. Hordes and hordes of broadswords from Schumer, whalers from Gibbo, and that chicken's dead in seconds. Returning from this is going to be quite a big ask for the core team, and look, now they're 700 mass behind. Poor core team. Is there any way back for this? From this? And meanwhile, that ridiculous TML bank is trying to snipe out the Mega. And I mean, it does quite a bit of damage to the Mega, but I don't know if the amount of damage he's actually getting done is worth the immense resource cost of that many TMLs. 14 TMLs. That's madness. And they fire yet again. I mean, if at first you don't succeed, continue wasting mass, right? That's how it goes. That's quite good though, a decent amount of damage, and it wastes a lot of resource for Skill, who was trying to build a Mega there. And he's doubling down on the tactical missile front with these spearheads. Now, I like spearheads, I don't see them used very often, but they're remarkably cheap for something that can get off that much tactical missile fire. Have we got any anti-nukes going up for the cold team. I really hope so. We've got one here, but it's not loaded yet. We've got one here, and it is loaded, so Hannibalo at least has thought to protect himself a bit. The Zui spam continues, but it's being shot at range by Gibbo's Mega, and so I don't know what Hybrid plans to do about that. What's he going to do about it? Well, he too is trying again with the same strategy. What's the definition of insanity again? Oh yeah. Anyway, he has got an anti-nuke loaded, so that'll help, and that chicken will be able to hold back some T3. But crab beats chicken, so he's probably going to need more than that, and I see a clink hammer creep being planned here, just slowly edging its way forward. I mean, if you've got the eco, and with his 1.1k eco income, like that's almost as much as all of Cold Team combined, Gibbo can certainly afford it. Have they still got air though? That's a big air force from Hannibalo. And Gibbo is content to just sit at range and fire. And what's this? A swarm of Lobos out from system, just running around the back, getting away from these bricks and taking out... I think that was a T3 mix there, taking out the T3 mix. Worth it. Nice. And it's probably enough to swarm at least one or two of those bricks down into the bargain. Novak, says Tryth. Well, he's not wrong. And there isn't much in the way of shielding here, so if that Novak can come in and start just popping a couple of these P-gens, Gibbo could lose his air grid quite fast. Wouldn't like to be in his shoes if that happened. The assault force creeps forward and then falls back again. And out comes yet another nuke. Okay, this one is from Schumer, so Schumer as well as Gibbo have nukes. And Gibbo's loaded again. Feels like this one is probably going to get shot down by this anti-nuke. And Schumer instantly follows it up by starting on a Duke. Feels like the advantage is all with Hot Team. Indeed, it gets shot down, but that's now not loaded. And we've got this nuke from Gibbo ready to fire. Methinks he should fire. Another wave of TMLs comes out, but that Mega's not going to be where they land, even if they were going to land. And another wave comes out. Wave of TMD, stop it, and it gets almost nothing done. So I think that system failure is just wasting resources by not reclaiming this missile bank. Hot Team now 800 eco per tick ahead, but somehow Cold Team have more collected total. I say somehow, well there's the answer, look at that. They have collected almost 200,000 more reclaim than Hot Team. And so they're ahead in total mass collected. I mean, there's been so much death and destruction on their very doorsteps, and look how well it's being cleaned up. And there's that Novak, that first Novak, so we saw when we looked at it that he had several queued up, and the second one is already half done. But that Novak is indeed going straight for Gibbo's air grid, and I think he could get some significant damage done if he tries. There are shields queued up, but I don't know if they're going to go up fast enough. GG, says Tryth, on seeing the Novaks open fire. Well, I don't think it's GG yet. I don't know if he knows quite how far ahead they are in eco and how easily they could rebuild. The Novaks fires. And boom, look at that, as heaps and heaps of air grid go up in smoke. 3 megas pushing forward from Skill on this side, as 2 megas push in from Gibbo on this side. Round and round the wheel. Now Hybrid never actually finished that double gun upgrade, so his comm is probably better off not right on the front line. And this 3 mega counter push comes on in, and System resigns. He did say he had to go, I think. Yeah, so that is a forced resignation rather than a actual kill. Gibbo has inherited his stuff. And those megas are just bombarding this force, and there are these spearheads returning fire, and they might actually kill a mega. In fact, 2 of these are pretty badly damaged. 1 mega goes down. Will the second go down? Come on, don't keep us in suspense. And a defensive nuke is plonked right in the way of this push. That is pretty nice. Let's see how much kill it's got so far. 76k, because I think this is going to claim quite a lot of scalp from the code team. I know they're falling back, you still get some though. In comes the nuke. Boom. Doesn't actually kill as much as I expected. Only gets another 15k or so, give or take. But these 2 megas are getting work done, and there's no defensive nuke coming the other way, so nothing to stop them. And Hybrid is still swarming, but what's he going to do with it? Meanwhile, Skill starts work on a nuke of his own. And there's another one in the clip for Gibbo. 2 Nova Seas now, and they're focusing on Schumer, trying to stop his Duke from going up. More shields being put up to defend it, but the Nova Seas quickly refocus and take it out. However, I don't know if they're going to get through that. Schumer launches another nuke. Where's it going? Over here. Well, that could kill a decent amount of stuff. Is it going to be close enough to that SMD though? I think it... I don't know. But the army's moving. I think that Hybrid might have guessed where it was coming, and that nuke is going to kill almost nothing. I mean, a few tanks, but how much did we get? We only got 15k. The Nova Seas have got through, and the Duke is down before it even went up. Nice play from Skill, and Skill sees that SMD, which is loaded, and he can just take it out. Is there another one in Schumer's base? You know what? I do not think there is. Boom. So that could be a nice nuke. He's got a 3rd Novax up, and the nuke is loading, but loading slowly. I don't know how quickly that's gonna be of any use to anyone. So we've got a fat boy over here for Gibbo now, and it's smacking its way through all the TMDs. There is a Mega there, but Fatties beat Megas, and the Mega thinks better of it and just falls back. I think that despite this huge horde from Hannibalo, that Hot Team still have air superiority. and he's got a lovely air grid, but Hannibalo isn't really doing anything other than making the ASFs, and I think he would still lose if there were an air fight, because Skill no longer has an air grid, it got nuked, so he's going to go one level higher than air, he's going up to space! The one place that capitalism hasn't reached. Bonus points if you can remember what that's from, and who said it. Ooh, so Nova sees everywhere. We have a Novax out from Gibbo, but we also have a Novax shooting back from Hannibalo, as well as the 3 and soon to be 4 from Skill. Sneaky little gunship raid comes in and gets the T3 mechs. Schumer sniping one out there. It shouldn't be too hard for Hannibalo to rebuild, and he did notice it, but with that many ASFs, I'm surprised he allowed it to get through. There's his Novax. Is he going to go for more of them? Speaking of Novaces, there is a little bit of damage getting done here by the 3 from Skill-issue against Schumer's air grid, but Schumer has enough shields that they're not really getting an immense amount done, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like Skill is pulling them away to try and get something else done with them, though I don't know what yet. Maybe he's coming to help out this one from Hannibalo. And there are now 3 megas up here for Gibbo, and they're just creeping forward. This is the slowest creep you've ever seen, but it's the very definition of a creep, but a creep it is, and it is advancing, albeit slowly. Oh, that's what he did. He focused the SMD, and he's going to kill it. Does that mean his nuke's loaded? Down it goes. Boom. Where's his nuke? Huh. A strategic launch was detected, but that wasn't him. That was Schumer shooting off again. And have they just sniped out hybrids? No, hybrids are still there and it's loaded, though it's been damaged. Where's that nuke coming? Down goes one of the megas. This is a brutal fight. That nuke is shot down. Down goes the second mega, and I think the third will very soon follow. Could this be a bit of a turn up for the books? Look at that. Hot team now 1,000 ahead on eco. Wild. And what have they done with it? Well, this is what they've done with it. A Scathis opens fire. Gibbo has got a Scathis, and what's he going to do with it? However, there's that nuke from Skill, and where's it coming? I think it's heading to try and pick off Schumer. Does he know that his SMD got killed here? Does he know that this SMD is dead? And look at this immense amount. Is that 5 Novax satellites from Skill plus 1 from Hannibalo now? I think it is. Tryth realizes that Schumer is in the line of fire. He got the Duke up and it was just turning to fire when, boom, down goes Schumer, down goes the Duke. Ouch. Schumer has been defeated, leaving Gibbo all on his own against the combined might of 3 players from Code Team. But all on his own includes a Scathis, which is raining fire down on his opponents. It's going for Hannibalo at the moment. I'd probably be aiming either here or here with it. But Hannibalo does have an air grid, and if he can stop this getting reinforced, then he might get air superiority. He needs to get his ASFs up in the air now. Ouch! Look at that, the Scathis hits the air grid, and there is so much wreckage for Hannibalo. It's painful to see. And again, he's back to a lead of 1,000 mass per tick, which is madness. Now, unsurprisingly, these novices are focusing the Scathis, but Cyber and Shields, being heavily assisted, can probably hold out. Probably, not certain, maybe. And the novices are sort of getting through, but they really need to target the shields that they expose as they expose them, and they're not doing that. And that shield is just going to get assisted back up. And in fact, it looks like Skill has decided that the Scathis is too heavily shielded, and he's going to try and get work done elsewhere. But will he have time to do that, because the Scathis is opening fire on Skill himself? And as that volley of artillery fire comes raining down, how's he going to protect those novices? It's not going to be easy. Meanwhile, hordes upon hordes of whaler gunships from Giro stop the Zuis from hybrid in their tracks. And he's just got so much ASF that I don't think Hannibalo could take them. And he hasn't got the means to rebuild them, so he's just holding off. What are these novices trying to do? Are they trying to take out the power so that the shields go down? Well, Gibbo is generating 144,000 power, so I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for him. And Skill-issue is losing shields. You can probably kill him with gunships, says Tryth, who's been advising all this time from beyond the grave. And I don't think he's wrong. ACU shield, says Tryth. And he's gonna... Has Gibbo just been caught out? The novices fire upon him. He's down to 8,000 hit points. He's now back under a shield, and not a moment too soon. That ion reactor is damaged, and if it blows, it could do some damage. And Gibbo is under fire. These shields are down to just one shield on the novices, and if the novices die, then it's all over, bar the crying for Cold Team, despite them being 3 players up to 1. And all Gibbo has to do is keep his comm under shields. I said all Gibbo has to do is keep his comm under shields. The nuke fires off. Is it going to be stopped? Is there an SMD still functional for Gibbo? It doesn't matter, he's out. Is he out? He's out from under the shield. Boom! Gibbo taken out by novices with just a few shots of the Scathis remaining before it could have taken out Skill's novices. My word, but that was close. Anyway, that was a clutch save from Cold Team, who were 1,400 mass behind. Tell me what you thought of that in the comments below. Who do you think had the play of the game there? Was it the silly tactical missile bank? Was it the TML on the comm from Hannibalo? Was it the gunship raids from Schumer? Tell me below. And while you're down there, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I'm back. And I'll see you next time.